MITRE Engage per the website. MITRE Engage is a framework for planning and discussing adversary engagement operations that empowers you to engage your adversaries and achieve your cybersecurity goals. MITRE Engage is considered an adversary engagement approach. This is accomplished by the implementation of cyber denial and cyber deception. With cyber denial we prevent the adversary's ability to conduct their operations, and with cyber deception we intentionally plant artifacts to mislead the adversary. The Engage website provides a starter kit to get you started with the adversary engagement approach. The starter kit is a collection of white papers and PDFs explaining various checklists, methodologies, and processes to get you started. As with MITRE ATT and CK, Engage has its own matrix. Below is a visual of the Engage matrix. Let's quickly explain each of these categories based on the information on the Engage website. Prepare the set of operational actions that will lead to your desired outcome. Input: expose adversaries when they trigger your deployed deception activities. Affect adversaries by performing actions that will have a negative impact on their operations. Elicit information by observing the adversary and learn more about their modus operandi, TTPs. Understand the outcomes of the operational actions. Output: refer to the Engage handbook to learn more. You can interact with the Engage Matrix Explorer. We can filter by information from MITRE ATT and CK. Note that by default the matrix focuses on operate, which entails expose, affect, and elicit. That should be enough of an overview. We'll leave it to you to explore the resources provided to you on this website. Before moving on, let's practice using this resource by answering the questions below. What is the name of the resource to aid you with the engagement activity from the previous question? What is the name of the resource to aid you with the engagement activity from the previous question? Which engagement activity baits a specific response from the adversary? Which engagement activity baits a specific response from the adversary? Deceptive systems and artifacts intended to serve as decoys, breadcrumbs, or bait to elicit a specific response from the adversary. D3Fend. What is this MITRE resource? Per the D3Fend website, this resource is a knowledge graph of cybersecurity countermeasures. D3Fend is still in beta and is funded by the Cybersecurity Directorate of the NSA. D3Fend stands for Detection, Denial, and Disruption Framework Empowering Network Defense. At the time of this writing, there are 408 artifacts in the D3Fend matrix. See the below image. As you can see, you're provided with information on what is the technique, definition, how the technique works, how it works, things to think about when implementing the technique, considerations, and how to utilize the technique. Example. Note, as with other MITRE resources, you can filter based on the ATT and CK matrix. Since this resource is in beta and will change significantly in future releases, we won't spend that much time on D3Fend. The objective of this task is to make you aware of this MITRE resource and hopefully you'll keep an eye on it as it matures in the future. We will still encourage you to navigate the website a bit by answering the questions below. What is the first MITRE ATT and CK technique listed in the ATT and CK lookup dropdown? If these tools provided to us by MITRE are not enough, under MITRE Ingenuity, we have CTIDE, the Adversary Emulation Library, and ATT and CK registered trademark symbol emulation plans. CTIDE MITRE formed an organization named the Center of Threat-Informed Defense, CTIDE. This organization consists of various companies and vendors from around the globe. Their objective is to conduct research on cyber threats and their TTPs and share this research to improve cyber defense for all. Some of the companies and vendors who are participants of CTIDE: AttackIQ, founder, Verizon Microsoft, founder, Red Canary, founder, Splunk. Per the website, together with participant organizations, we cultivate solutions for a safer world and advanced threat-informed defense with open-source software, methodologies, and frameworks. By expanding upon the MITRE ATT and CK knowledge base, our work expands the global understanding of cyber adversaries and their tradecraft with the public release of data sets critical to better understanding adversarial behavior and their movements. Adversary Emulation Library and ATT and CK registered trademark symbol emulations plans. The Adversary Emulation Library is a public library making adversary emulation plans a free resource for blue/red teamers. The library and the emulations are a contribution from CTIDE. There are several ATT and CK registered trademark symbol emulation plans currently available: Apt 3, Apt 29, and Fin 6. The emulation plans are a step-by-step guide on how to mimic the specific threat group. If any of the C-suite were to ask, how would we fare if Apt 29 hits us? This can easily be answered by referring to the results of the execution of the emulation plan. Review the emulation plans to answer the questions below. What is ceph.exe doing on my computer? Ceph.exe is a process associated with Windows NT High Contrast Invocation and is part of Microsoft Registered Trademark Symbol Windows Registered Trademark Symbol operating system. With default Windows settings, this process is run when the Shift is pressed 5 times in sequence, to invoke the sticker keys configuration window. Non-system processes like ceph.exe originate from software you installed on your system. Since most applications store data on your hard disk and in your system's registry, it is likely that your computer has suffered fragmentation and accumulated invalid entries which can affect your PC's performance. In Windows Task Manager, you can see what CPU, memory, disk and network utilization is causing the Windows NT High Contrast Invocation process. To access the Task Manager, hold down the Control and Shift and Escape keys at the same time. These three buttons are located on the far left of your keyboard. The ceph.exe is an executable file on your computer's hard drive. This file contains machine code. If you start the software Microsoft Registered Trademark Symbol Windows Registered Trademark Symbol operating system on your PC, the commands contained in ceph.exe will be executed on your PC. For this purpose, the file is loaded into the main memory, RAM, and runs there as a Windows NT High Contrast Invocation process, also called a task. Examine the emulation plan for Sandworm. What web shell is used for Scenario 1? Check MITRE ATT and CK for the software ID for the web shell. What is the ID? Format, web shell ID.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cyber War. We're currently doing
Threat intelligence, T, or cyber threat intelligence, CTI, is the information, or TTPs, attributed to the adversary. By using threat intelligence, as defenders, we can make better decisions regarding the defensive strategy. Large corporations might have an in-house team whose primary objective is to gather threat intelligence for other teams within the organization, aside from using threat intel already readily available. Some of this threat intel can be open source or through a subscription with a vendor, such as CrowdStrike. In contrast, many defenders wear multiple hats, roles, within some organizations, and they need to take time from their other tasks to focus on threat intelligence. To cater to the latter, we'll work on a scenario of using ATT and CK registered trademark symbol for threat intelligence. The goal of threat intelligence is to make the information actionable. Scenario: you are a security analyst who works in the aviation sector. Your organization is moving their infrastructure to the cloud. Your goal is to use the ATT and CK registered trademark symbol matrix to gather threat intelligence on apt groups who might target this particular sector and use techniques targeting your areas of concern. You are checking to see if there are any gaps in coverage. After selecting a group, look over the selected group's information and their tactics, techniques, etc. As your organization is migrating to the cloud, is there anything attributed to this apt group that you should focus on? If so, what is it? Apt 33 is a suspected Iranian threat group that has carried out operations since at least 2013. The group has targeted organizations across multiple industries in the United States, Saudi Arabia, and South Korea, with a particular interest in the aviation and energy sectors. 1. 2. As your organization is migrating to the cloud, is there anything attributed to this apt group that you should focus on? If so, what is it? What tool is associated with the technique from the previous question? Per the detection tip, what should you be detecting? Format, phrase 1 or phrase 2?
Oh, a detection tip. So it's 8, 2, 9, 8. Okay. So this not the brightest. Okay. Here it is.
In this room, we explored tools/resources that MITRE has provided to the security community. The room's goal was to expose you to these resources and give you a foundational knowledge of their uses. Many vendors of security products and security teams across the globe consider these contributions from MITRE invaluable in the day-to-day efforts to thwart evil. The more information we have as defenders, the better we are equipped to fight back. Some of you might be looking to transition to become a SOC analyst, detection engineer, cyber threat analyst, etc. These tools/resources are a must to know. As mentioned before, though, this is not only for defenders. As red teamers, these tools/resources are useful as well. Your objective is to mimic the adversary and attempt to bypass all the controls in place within the environment. With these resources, as the red teamer, you can effectively mimic a true adversary and communicate your findings in a common language that both sides can understand. In a nutshell, this is known as purple teaming.